Welcome to the show, everyone. This is the Voices of Healing podcast, and I'm your host, Tina Clark. Today's guest is Olivier Mankondo. He is in the UK right now, and he is going to share his amazing story of how he lost 77 pounds, reversed chronic disease by adopting plant based nutrition. Welcome to the show, Oliver.
Thank you for having me, Tina. I'm really delighted to be here.
So I'm really excited to hear your story. So tell us a little bit more about yourself and then share your wisdom with us.
Yes, so my name is Olivier Mankondo. I'm a speaker, author, weight loss, and wellness coach. And basically, I grew up in Africa. So when I was growing up, there were no computer games, no video games. So we were forced to play outside, running around, climbing trees, playing football, which is completely different from the kids of today who are glued to their screens. But for us, we were always outside playing and all that. And what's happened is that I was not exposed to many animal products, dairy product, and processed food. So when I was growing up, I was very lean. I didn't have any problem. I was not overweight and stuff like that. And what's happened is that my problem only started when I left my country. I went first to South Africa, where I spent a year, and then I came to the UK. And here I was exposed to a lot of animal product, dairy product, processed food, and I was constantly eating. And at my heaviest, I was 220 pounds. And because of that, I started to suffer from a lot of chronic diseases. And one of them was high blood pressure. And people need to know that high blood pressure is a very dangerous disease. And 50% of people who suffer from cardiovascular disease and kidney problems and stuff like that, it's because of high blood pressure. And I even remembered that one day I was waking up around 3 a.m. with a sharp pain in my chest. And I'm not really the kind of guy who complain, but here at home, they had to call the ambulance. They came, they picked me up, and they took me to the hospital. And over there, the doctor told me that my blood pressure went through the roof. And I spent a day and a half over there and stuff like that. So that's what I was suffering from. And then apart from that, I had massive headaches every day or every other day. And in fact, I had to have some painkillers in my wallet all the time because of that. I had dandruff, a chest pain, back pain, abscesses, joint pain, and a lot of dental problems because I really developed a bad eating habit. So, for example, until midnight, I would still have my bottle of Coca-Cola with some biscuits, some cakes, and stuff like that. And because of that, every 2 to 3 months, I had to see the dentist. And on top of that, I was always tired. So, for example, on the day where I had to go to work, I will drag myself out of bed. And on the day where I was not working, I will sleep until 1 p.m. So always tired. And I didn't know what to do. So I went to see the doctor. And the doctor told me that I'll be on medication for the rest of my life. And I didn't like that idea. I said, no, I can't go on medication like that. And he told me, okay, what are you going to do? I said, okay, I'm going to do martial arts. So I went and joined a karate club where I was there for 4 years, thinking that my blood pressure will come down. But obviously, it didn't budge. My blood pressure was still high. So I was really lost. I didn't know what else to do. And just one day out of the blue, I was just watching a program on YouTube, and there was an Indian yogi who suggested that by stopping eating animal product, it was possible to reverse 70% of the chronic diseases. And because my health was pretty bad, I said, okay, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to try that. So it was a Wednesday that I watched the program. On Thursday, I came back from work. I had my last meal of meat. And on Friday, I went cold turkey. And what's happened is that after 4 months of me changing my lifestyle, I went back to see my doctor, who told me that I would be on medication for the rest of my life, and my blood pressure was completely gone. And after 9 months, I was able to lose 77 pounds. And if you can see, this is the way I used to be, and the way I've been able to lose 77 pounds. And basically, from that, I've been able to reverse all my chronic disease. So I don't suffer from high blood pressure anymore, no back pain, no chest pain, no headaches. Every single ailment is completely gone. And in fact, for the past years, I've not been sick a single day, not even a headache. And for the past 10 years, I've not taken a single pill, not even in paracetamol or an aspirin. And on top of that, I've been able to really, really slow down my aging process, because a lot of people, when they see me, way I've been able to get into this space.
Wow, that's amazing. So when you say plant-based, is that vegan or what does that look like? Like, what are you eating typically every day?
Yes, so basically it's like a vegan diet, but with the difference that when, for a lot of vegans, they eat a lot of processed food. For example, a lot of sodas, a lot of sweet cakes and stuff like that. But for me, I tend to avoid all these things. I mostly eat fruit, vegetables, legumes, grains, nuts, and seed. I eat the food that we find in nature. Very little of processed food. And usually it's a vegan processed food, but it's mostly whole food that I eat.
Yeah, so you're a health coach, and so you've obviously helping people with some of the same issues. Does everybody respond to the plant-based diet well, or are there any exceptions?
No, I mean, for all the people that I've been able to coach, all of them, with that exception, they've responded well. But some of them have lost more weight, some of them have lost. I remember there was a woman, she was overweight. She was really, really depressed because she was already suffering from high blood pressure. She was suffering from diabetes. She was already on 5 different medication. And she had 3 small kids. And because she was overweight, she couldn't play with them. And this made her very depressed. And she couldn't even take care of her husband and stuff. And she was always tired. She was calling off sick at work all the time, and the boss was really tired of that, and he was really about to fire her. And that way she stumbled on my program. We're starting to work together, and within the course of 12 months, she was able to lose 80 pounds. She reversed all diabetes and high blood pressure, and she was off of all her medication. And because of that, she was able again to start playing with her kids, and she was able to go back to work with no problem at all. So there's people like that. And there was, for example, another woman. She worked with me for 2 months, and after 2 months, she already lost 31 pound. So it really depends on people, but all of them have been able to reap some benefit.
Yeah, so this is proof, listeners, that food is medicine and it matters what we eat and the quality of food that we eat. And yeah, I find that a lot of vegetarians, they end up losing weight. But again, like you said, you could be vegetarian and eating junk food. In fact, I remember when I was in college, I knew this girl who was a vegetarian and she was eating potato chips all the time. And I was kind of shocked. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because people always think that, oh, when they say that you're vegan or you're vegetarian, it means that you're going to be in good health. That's not always the case, because when you eat a lot of processed food, and usually what I've noticed is that a lot of vegans and a lot of vegetarians, they like to eat loads and loads of processed food. But people need to understand that processed food are not the food biologically designed for the human mechanism, because they've got lots of additive, coloring, flavoring, preservative, which are chemical substances not recognized by the body, and they create havoc. And that's what people need to understand, that you need to eat the food that you find in nature, the food that grows in nature. That's the food that are designed for our system. And when you eat that, then you will be able to live a disease-free life, which is different than processed food.
Yeah. So when you were growing up in the Congo, what were you eating as a child? I'm curious.
Yeah, as a child, I was just eating. I was eating animal product, dairy product, processed food. But the difference is, I was not eating practically no processed food because the process, as you see, for example, as a race, 51% of what we eat is processed food, 42% are animal product, and only 7% are fruit and vegetables. And when I was in the Congo, I was practically not eating any processed food. And when I was eating, for example, the animal product, it was not in big quantities, and usually they were organic because it was usually maybe some chicken that they will touch, they will kill, and that there was they didn't. It was not the chicken which were pumped with a lot of antibiotics and stuff like that. So it was mostly organic meat and food that we were eating. But in fact, I was not eating too much of it. And for example, eating stuff like sweet, like ice cream, I don't really remember eating too much of that when I was growing up. So that was the massive difference of what I starting to eat when I came to, I went to South Africa and to the UK.
Yeah, so my mother's family is from the Philippines. It's very similar. They grew their own food and they ate a lot of rice, as Asians do, and whatever vegetables they had and fruit that they had on the farm. And I'm convinced that that has really helped them health-wise. Most of my aunts and uncles lived into 70s, 80s, and I think it's because they were poor, but their food quality was a lot better. And what's the food quality like in the UK?
The food quality, because what I try to do is to buy organic food. That's my first choice, because I understand that even the fruit, vegetables, legumes, grains, and seed that they commercially produce, they put pesticide, herbicide, and stuff like that. So the first choice for me is always organic. But if I can't find that, then I will still have those kind of food. But from the research that I've done, it's like in the United States, the quality of the food is less good than the one here in Europe. That's
Yeah,
from the
I would,
research that
I
that
would,
I've done.
well, I agree with you. And when I travel out of this country, the food is so much better. In Mexico, I went to Egypt early last year. The food was fantastic. And even just getting access to good local, farm food is difficult here. Like you have to spend Saturday morning at the farmer's market or settle for whatever they're selling organically in the grocery store. But in Egypt, as we drove through all these little villages, everybody was selling the food that they were growing. So you saw watermelons and different fruits and potatoes or whatever they were growing. It was like farmer's market every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I just think we need to get rid of this idea that, oh, it's a Western country, we have better quality food.
Yeah.
I will tell you, the food sucks here in America.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
because even when I went to last year, I went to South Africa and I went to Congo as well. When you eat fruit, the taste is completely different than what I eat here in the UK. Completely different. Yeah.
and
So
better. Are you
yes, a
saying
lot
better?
better.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. It tastes better.
Yeah, the fruit, I mean, I've had like organic cantaloupe and it is amazing. It doesn't even compare to the regular cantaloupe that they're serving. So say a listener is interested in losing weight or they're interested in adopting a plant-based lifestyle, where did they begin?
Yeah, so the first thing that they need to do is to, first of all, have a right mindset. Because what I've noticed is that if you don't have the right mindset, it's not going to work. And usually people will start saying, oh, when you tell them that you're going to adopt a plant-based nutrition, the first thing they will say, okay, it's going to be difficult, or I'm not going to be able to do it, or I love my meat, and stuff like that. And as soon as you say things like that, because the subconscious mind is very powerful, and your subconscious mind will make sure that you fail because that's what you want. And usually what I try to tell to people is not to use the willpower. If they would like to change, they need to use the white power, because with the willpower, it will take you so far. But if you can find a good reason for you to keep you on track, then it's going to be good for people to do that. And I will also ask them to surround themselves with a supportive community, because what I've noticed is that when you don't have people around you which support you, it's become very, very difficult to be able to make the transition. And what I will also ask people is to do that very slowly, not to do like me, because for me, like I said, I went cold turkey, and this is not the right way to do things, because I remember the following week, my symptoms got worse. I had massive detox symptoms. So I remember for 3 days, I had massive headaches that I've never had in my entire life. I starting to have more cold sore, more abscesses, my joints starting to ache even more. And here at home, my family even asked me to stop because it was very, very bad. But I said, no, I'm going to continue. And then after a week, all these symptoms completely disappeared. I'm starting to feel a lot of energy, a lot of mental clarity. And that's what people need to understand, is that when you change your way of eating abruptly like me, the body will find a lot of energy and will go inside your tissues and extract all the toxins and stuff like that, and dump that in the bloodstream. And that's why people will have lots of detox symptoms, and they will think that, oh, it's not working, because people associate detox symptom or side effects with not feeling well, being bad. What they need to understand, that's the way the body detoxify itself. And if they are persistent, then all these things will disappear. And that's why I don't ask people to go cold turkey. I would like them to do that very slowly. For example, if they eat animal product, dairy product, and processed food 7 days a week, what they can do, for example, for 5 days, they can continue to eat what they usually eat. And for 2 days, they introduce the plant-based nutrition. They can do that for 2 to 3 weeks. And then after that, they decrease that to 4 days. So they just introduce that very slowly. They decrease the animal product, the dairy product, the processed food, and they introduce the fruit, vegetables, and stuff like that. So if they do that very slowly, then it's going to be good for them. That's how they're going to be able to transition. And for some people as well who cannot, for example, stop eating animal products straight away, or very decrease that, what they can do, they can use the vegan alternative. For example, if they crave ice cream, they can buy the vegan ice cream, or they crave chocolate, they can buy the vegan chocolate. So they can find all these vegan alternatives to sustain them while they are really diving into this plant-based nutrition. So that's what I will advise people to do if they would like to start this plant-based nutrition.
Yeah, and what if, like in my situation, my husband loves to eat meat, and then we cook together the meals, and he won't go plant-based. How do you handle that situation?
Yeah, so for example, for that, instead of eating the animal product, you can cook the tofu, because there are a lot of good recipe when you can make the tofu even taste like meat. You can use the tofu, you can use the tempeh, or for other people, they can go, they sell some vegan meat, vegan fake meat. You can buy all these things. And if you cook that very nicely with some spices and stuff like that, they taste very delicious. So that's something that you can try for your husband, if, for example, that's what he wants.
He won't go for it. He won't go for it,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah, so can you share with the listeners, if they'd like to learn more about you or work with you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so first of all, I would like to give your viewers and your listeners my 7 tips to lose weight, which are the same 7 tips that I've used myself to lose those 77 pounds. And I would like to give them free of charge. I will give you the link so you can put that maybe in the show notes so that they kickstart the weight loss and wellness journey. And then for people as well, they can buy my book, which is the Plant-Based Nutrition, How It's Going to Change Your Life, which is available on Amazon. And they can get that as well on my website, which is oliviermankondo.com. That's oliviermankondo.com. And over there, it's less cheaper. And they will be able to get 4 more bonuses as well. And for people who would like to, who are action takers and would like to dive deeper, they can book a discovery call with me. And on the discovery call, we're going to have a look at the current lifestyle. We're going to have a look at what they eat, what's the health situation, how long they've been in that bad situation. And I will introduce to them my 3 weight loss and wellness process to show them that it's possible to reverse all this the problem that they've got. And if there's a good fit, then there will be an opportunity for us to work together. So that's how I work with people who are interested to work with me.
Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that. The free tips, that's going to be in the link in the show notes. And check out his book definitely on Amazon if you're curious about plant-based nutrition. I mean, Olivier, he is an example of how it worked. And 77 pounds is a lot of weight to lose. And in addition to that, removing all of the chronic disease issues, that's amazing.
Yeah. I will really encourage people to really go through that route because, like I said, when we are born on this earth, the most important thing that we have is our body, it's our temple, and we've only got one. So we need to make sure that we are in good health so that we can have a longer and fruitful life. And people need to understand that they've got the power to change whatever they want.
Yes. I mean, I've always said for years that if you don't have your health, it affects everything else in your life. So thank you so much for sharing your story and your wisdom with our listeners. And thank you for being on the show.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you.